Saints Row is a franchise that has constantly delivered on some of the most entertaining and absurd features ever seen in the gaming industry, so it shouldn't come as a surprise that not every idea or aspect made it into each game. Some of these elements range from unique cosmetics, open-world objectives, to entire activities and gameplay components. We could spend all day discussing everything that was removed, but I think it'd be best to narrow down the list and look at the top 5 cut features from the Saints Row series. For this top 5, we're only looking at features that were at one point in their respected game before being removed, so anything that didn't make it past the concept stage won't be included. With that in mind, why don't we get started? One unique aspect of Saints Row 2's gameplay was its remarkable boss battles. Just to name a few, you had the sword fight between Junichi and Akuji, Mr. Sunshine in the meatpacking plant, Marrow on top of the Brotherhood hideout, and the General inside a turreted bulldog. Most of these fights take place after an hour or two of progressing through the story, but there's nearly one boss fight that would have taken place in the very beginning of the game. Thanks to a Volition stream during Saints Row 1's 10th anniversary, principal programmer Mike Flavin discussed a cut boss battle that was meant to take place during the third prologue mission, Down Payment. Let's take a listen.
Like, originally that part where you go to the underground and clean out the bums ended with a boss fight where you fought a super bum called the Bumaga.
Yeah.
Which is apparently a Final Fantasy reference.
Yeah.
And it got cut, and I was angry because, like, apparently the weapon that the Bumaga used to attack you was a street sign that had my name printed on it. And there was like the one place in the game where, like, it was like I wasn't on a tombstone, or it was like, but I'm on a boss weapon. The Bumaga kills you with my name. And then they cut the whole boss fight from the game, and I was like,
man.
So yeah, the Bumanga would have been a super bum holding a street sign. It wasn't clear why the boss was removed, but I'm sure the developers had a good reason. Maybe it wouldn't have been fun to fight a boss who couldn't attack from long range, or it just merely didn't fit the tone of the level. But if you're still curious to see how this boss fight might have gone down, Misako team is currently working on version 1.8 of his Ultra Rising mod, which will restore the Bumanga boss fight. It's only a matter of time before we'll get to see it.
You just looked at everybody like, but a dragon?
Why not?
In the game?
Why not?
As outrageous and over-the-top Saints Row 4 already is, it was close to being even more extravagant. Prior to the game's release, Volition held its first annual Awesome Week. This is when developers are given 7 days to design any concept they want.
This is a gun that summons space monkeys to fight dudes for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were quite a few intriguing creations for the first Awesome Week, but none other compared to the magnificence that was Puff. Yes, Puff would have been a fully controllable dragon capable of taking off, breathing fire, and landing on the player's command. The footage speaks for itself. This would have been an incredible addition to the game, and all other aircrafts and vehicles would have become obsolete. Sadly, Puff proved to be too complex and took up too much memory in-game. This was especially the case for the Xbox and PlayStation.
There's a couple really cool things here that didn't make it into the game, either for a whole bunch of different reasons. Sometimes it's just like, we couldn't fit it in the game, like it used too much memory on the consoles or something.
So even though it was a company favorite, the dragon had to be cut. There's been discussion of showing more Puff on Volition streams, so hopefully we'll at least be able to see more dragon action in the future. During Saints Row III's development, special in-game tools were made in order to help capture cinematic shots for trailers and promotional material. Known as either Machinima mode or capture mode, anyone with these tools can use one controller to move their player, while another controller could freely move the camera to any position. Other features include scaling the FOV, pausing or slowing down time, and locking the camera's view to an object. Why am I explaining this? Well, these tools were nearly released with the PC version of the game. It was first discovered when remnants of the tool were found within the files, then of course we got the entire scoop from a Volition stream. Thanks to Volition's previous video editor Alex Mejia, we know the capture mode was nearly added to the game when Machinima approached the studio asking them to adapt the tool for public use.
Because the guys from Machinima actually came in and approached us during Saints Row.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, in the middle of Saints Row 3's development cycle, and they said, we're creating a bunch of unique content. We want to make original content.
Right.
And they think that Saints Row was like the best game to do it in because Saints Row had the most variety for internet humor.
Yeah.
Is what they told us.
It's not entirely known why Machinima mode was cut, but as a fellow Saints Row content creator, it's simply heartbreaking. The YouTube landscape would have looked a lot different if players had their hands on these tools. Well, while making this video, it just happens that F13's latest version of the Super Ethical patch restores the Machinima mode that was going to be in the retail game. It doesn't function like the capture tool, however, but it's more like Rockstar's editor. And that's simply incredible. It might be a tad buggy, but this will revolutionize how Saints Row the Third Machinimas are made. We can also be grateful that Saints Row 4 has a simplified version of the tool with slew mode, and Nvidia users can use Ansel to take pause gameplay pics in Agents of Mayhem. When it comes to activities, Saints Row 2 introduced some of the most creative and beloved additions to the series. There was Fight Club, Fuzz, Septic Avenger, and my personal favorite, Crowd Control. As fantastic as all these activities might be, there was one cut activity that could have potentially topped them all. In Greg Donovan's Vertical Slice GDC presentation, he shows a brief video of a Saints Row 2 art piece. In this video, an activity is shown called Happy Fun Ball. In Happy Fun Ball, you would take control of a wrecker and take out shanties and vehicles. You would be given a time limit, and the wrecker could only take so much damage before the activity would fail. Since there's only 3 seconds of footage to go off of, we can only guess how the activity would progress in objectives and difficulty. But all I can say is that Happy Fun Ball looked amazing. I'm sure the developers had a logical reason to cut it, but it could have been one of the all-time best activities. Out of all the cut features we've discussed, none would have had a larger impact on the series' gameplay than our number 1 spot. For the first year of Saints Row the Third's development, the game had free running. As the name suggests, the player would have been able to pull off a variety of parkour moves, all while being able to fire a weapon. From the little gameplay that's available, it seems that some of the free-running abilities include diving over cars, running against or over walls, and vaulting over small objects. According to Volition's lead designer Scott Phillips, a feature had to be cut due to the open-world gameplay having too many variables for free-running to function properly.
In an open world with tons of AI, tons of vehicles, all kinds of crazy stuff going on, this feature, we spent about a year on it, and we probably could have spent way, way longer.
Though the Third's movement in combat is quite fluid as it is, it's interesting to think how it could have been even more refined if free running made it in. And there you have the top 5 cut features from the Saints Row series. It's a shame not all of these can make it past the chopping block, but who knows, there's always a chance they might make a comeback in the future. Well anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If there's a cut feature you think should have been left in the game, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Before ending today's video, I'd like to give a special shout out to my Patreon sponsors, John, Jordan Flattery, Delta, Scissor, KM, and Sam Just. Like always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.